Chapter 28. Pure Love. The Act of Love. Danger. It did not take long for the two groups, hastening towards each other, to collide and to meet with the mutually greatest love, and received each other most heartily. And all the people that were present here brought the Lord of Glory a great sacrifice of love in their hearts. But the Lord soon turned to all and said to them, "Listen, my children. What I now will share with you all, you must take note of in your hearts. Until now I have not given you a law, except for the only law of the most gentle love. Should I now add a new one to this old commandment of all commandments? Listen, for as long as you keep this in your hearts, no other commandment should bind you to me and to your actions. Because pure love and all actions thereof are anyway the truest foundation of all righteousness. Who has pure love towards me in his heart, to him any possible kind of injustice will forever remain alien. Therefore, you do not need any new commandment, because, as I said, love is the greatest commandment, which in itself contains all life and all truth. But precisely because of this love, which is now among you and in you, I, as your holy, most loving Father, want to give you some good advice, which you should take to heart and comply with, for the preservation of this sacred love from me, and now also in you and among you. This advice should not be hard to observe, but one that you very easily can comply with. And thus listen to me. The depth is now open. You can, if necessary, go down to the children of Cain, and they can likewise come up to you. And you can now spread again all over the earth from one end to the other. But I would not be pleased to see that any of you would go to live in any of the cities of the depth, because in these cities still remains a lot of filth of the snake, which at times stinks quite terribly in the nostrils of the spirit, and infects its life with poisonous pestilence. But if someone wants to go and see the good fruits of my mercy in the depth, he at any time can go there and see my guidance. But nobody should stay in the depth for longer than 3 times 7 days, except in the case of a specific order by me. This advice also applies vice versa. Hanoch and you children of the main tribe have to determine the residence time of the visitors from the depths, to which they must adhere very strictly. But if anyone wants to express the wish to become a resident on the heights, you always have to consult me about that. You may grant such permission to strangers yourself, but then you have to see to it that you have not put a viper in your chests or a snake on your heads. Thus be wise in all these matters, and you will never have to suffer disastrous damage to your spiritual and physical housekeeping. In the same manner, you should never pollute yourself with a woman from the depth, even if she appears to you so enticing and lovely. For this could put each of you soon anew in the greatest slavery of the serpent, and you would procreate fruit which would feed on the blood of men and on the flesh of children. However, the enemy of life has set out to adorn the women of the depth with extremely provoking flesh to tempt you. That is why I tell you these things in advance, so that you should know how to behave if any of this should occur. But if any of you get into trouble, he should turn to me, and I will help him. That is the advice which I had to give you for your own temporal and eternal good. Follow it, and it will always be well with you. I am going to stay with you visibly until the evening. If any one of you feel any lack of light, let him come and talk, so that I can replace his lack of light quickly. Amen.